Hey, what's up guys? Aaron here. Welcome to the video. So retail clawbacks are here and they are being flooded into the docket. Over probably 2,500 individual creditors will be most likely sued to get money back for the estate. So I'm going to touch on that right now, talk about my issues with it, and just kind of go over this document. If this doesn't affect you, you don't have to watch, but I think this is a very, very important thing that affects the entire crypto space. I mean, one thing that I don't love about it is that these are retail clawbacks. So these are individual people that withdrew money 90 days before Celsius went bankrupt. And I know all the arguments for why it's morally justifiable. Maybe it's legally justifiable, but that's yet to be determined. I personally don't think it is. Now, I personally settled my own preference exposure. I paid them money or I sent them money. I said that in a few videos ago. So I'm kind of in the clear right now, but there's a lot of people, again, thousands of people that are being or will be sued, which is kind of nuts. And the tactics that the Litigation Oversight Committee is using, which I'll get to later in this video, I don't agree with. And I think a lot of it is pretty immoral and scaring people. It kind of reminds me of a mafia shakedown. Basically like, hey, give us this money or else we'll do something even worse to you. And there's been a lot of that going on. And, you know, all of this is happening while 50% of people that are going to be getting a wire haven't actually gotten their money. And also professionals. So let's just start right here. This was approved, I think 2 days ago or a couple days ago, July 1st. All of these professionals from July of 2023 to November of 2023. So what is that, like 4 months or something? They're getting paid $6 million, $7 million, $20 million, $2 million, $5 million here, 15 for Kirkland and Ellis, 11, basically $12 million for White and Case. All the while, again, there have been tons of these flooding into the docket, which I'll go through. I highlighted some things I want to cover. And basically, this is the beginning of people being sued. And these are not insiders being sued, right? This is not Mashinsky or Daniel Leon or Newt Goldstein or other insiders that withdrew hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars weeks before bankruptcy. No, these are individuals. These are normal people that were not insiders. And there's been no official update on the clawbacks from who we actually care about seeing clawed back, which again are the insiders. So all of this is happening, again, while professionals are being paid, gosh, tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're going after individuals. Now, I've been covering retail clawbacks, and we knew this was going to happen basically for well over a year. I've been covering this. So this is nothing new, but there are a lot of people that have not been following, and all of a sudden they're going to get sued and they're going to get a letter in the mail and they're like, what? So I'll touch on that and I'll share more about just kind of my thoughts on everything a little bit later in this video. So the first thing I want to do is just go through this document, which is pretty cut and paste for most of these people. One thing to note right here is obviously White and Case is on the top. We also have Ask LLP. And Ask LLP, they are a law firm that supposedly really specializes in preference actions, aka clawbacks. So this is what they do, and they have been tagged at the top of these documents, right? So let me just go through this to kind of give you the updates and also some of the crazy things that I think they're doing here. So they lay out the argument, and a lot of you guys know the argument already, but basically the defendant, aka the customer, who they're essentially suing, is one of the lucky ones who were spared, right? Either partly or entirely from the devastation and hardship caused by Celsius's collapse. So they're the lucky ones. If you got this, you are one of the lucky ones. And less than 2% of Celsius's customers withdrew more than $100,000 in the 90-day window. So they're framing it like these people are lucky and, oh, it's just less than 2% of customers. But how are they calculating customers? Are these people with over $10? So how many of those are like $10 to $100, right? So they go through a lot, but just touching on some of the main points, they go through the background of how all the crypto that we gave Celsius became their property. And this was way back last year in 2023 when they decided that it became their property when we put it on the platform. So we'll get to this later in the video, but essentially they are valuing and they are wanting money based on the assets you withdrew, but as of June 14th of this year prices. So that is something that is very, very different. This is for Voyager. They are not doing that. So there's a big difference there that I'll cover a little bit later in the video. So they're just laying the groundwork basically about what happened, what's the earn program, what happened with Celsius, and how everything collapsed. And it's just sort of like an overview of how we got here in 27 pages. Here, they kind of set the stage saying the assets that customers withdrew depleted a pool of assets that was insufficient for Celsius to honor customers' withdrawal requests. So they are essentially pinning this bank run, which I'll get to in just a moment, on the people that withdrew. Here they're going over what happened with Terra Luna and how everyone was freaked out, right? So just going through some of the background, not going to cover all this, but if you got this letter, I would encourage you to read all of it. Here they say, Celsius's records show that defendant, so that would be the actual customer that was titled in this document, that defendant contributed to this quote run on the bank by making significant withdrawals during this time. So if you got this letter, you contributed to the run on the bank, is basically what they're saying here. Now, the thing they're doing here, which I don't know if it's a scare tactic, I don't know if it's legal, there's a lot to be determined, but they are wanting essentially the crypto you withdrew, but as of, again, June 14th prices, which is crazy. So I'll get to that a little bit later in the video, but I'm like, what? So they go over some of the possible defenses that individuals can have, and I'm not going to go through all that in this video, but they're saying, oh, the ordinary course of business defense won't work here because these were unique circumstances. So if you withdrawing over $100,000 was ordinary, you're going to have to basically prove that in court. So this is what the Litigation Oversight Committee wants. They want these customers to pay them not less than the full amount of the avoidable transfer, which right here, and I just picked a random document, so sorry if that's you, totally not intentional, but just I had to pick one. They are wanting not less than these amounts here, which again I'll cover isn't the amount that it was when they withdrew it from Celsius. It's the amount on June 14th of this year, which is way higher, way higher than when they withdrew it, and what I believe the disclosure statement said they would be valuing WPE, withdrawal preference exposure. So they also want prejudgment interest. Essentially, they want the defendant, and by defendant, these are customers. These are not someone who did something illegal, right? These are customers, so they want interest, and they also want post-judgment interest. So they want more money than actually what they say here. What else do they want? Well, they want all the costs that it took to sue them, the attorney fees, costs, and other expenses. So if you got one of these and the number is way higher than they told you otherwise, than they told you before it would be, it's because, again, they are, for whatever reason, again, don't know if it's legal, don't know if they can do this, but this is how they're calculating it for June 14th prices, where Bitcoin was $66,000. Now, most people withdrew in the 90-day window when Bitcoin, ETH, and other cryptos were a heck of a lot less. So this individual had transactions May 16th, 2022. So right here, May 16th or so, we see the price of Bitcoin at around $30,000. So they are wanting basically twice as much as what some people thought they were going to ask for. So that is very frustrating and very infuriating. Infuriating because, again, our claims are based at the day of bankruptcy, and before they said we only want X percent if you want to settle like I did, X percent of how much your crypto was when you withdrew it or when you moved it into custody. But now they're saying, no, we want all of your crypto, all of your property, or their property, as of June 14th prices. So often double of what it was just a few weeks ago when they were offering settlements. And for Voyager, which ironically they're using the same Ask LLP, they're using the same attorneys to do these lawsuits, I guess, they here are valuing Bitcoin appropriately, or at least what we thought they would be doing, the day of the transaction. So here, this individual for Voyager transacted on April 6th, and Bitcoin was $43,000. 43 times 20 is around this $950,000 mark. So here's what the litigation administrator said. Basically, account holders who withdrew funds uniquely benefited at the expense of others because essentially they got their money and other people couldn't. Account holders had ample time to settle, like I guess I did. However, now that the settlement offer has expired, we intend to pursue the recovery at the full value of crypto transferred during the preference period. So that's how they're saying we actually want the value of your crypto based on June 14th prices. Here, the LOC, or Litigation Oversight Committee Twitter, said that again, they have begun this. They have begun commencing filing complaints against holders who have failed to settle their preference liability. The prior settlement program resulted in the recovery of nearly $100 million. So again, going back, where is it right here? This was just approved for 4 months. I can't do the math in my head, but maybe $50-60 million for professional fees. So it's just crazy that they're going after individuals when these law firms have gotten paid so much. And again, this is just for a very, very small window. And here comes more of the threat language. Non-settling Celsius account holders can expect vigorous pursuit for the recovery of the full value of crypto transferred during the preference period. So again, I think it is completely ridiculous that they are not using, like with Voyager, the transaction date prices like they said they would, and they're using prices from crypto just a few weeks ago when it was much, much higher. I feel like that is very threatening, and it may just be unlawful. We don't know that, but it seems like a bullying tactic. And they've been doing that basically since the beginning. I have not liked how they've been doing this. And it's like, I know all the mental gymnastics that they go through. Well, they actually write it all here. All the mental gymnastics they have to hop through to be like, no, we are doing this on behalf of everybody. If we get money back, it's going to the creditors, right? If we get any money back from these lawsuits, it's going back to the creditors. But guess what? There is nothing written that money they get back is going to come back to us. That is not written. The Litigation Oversight Committee, this individual Mosin, don't know how to pronounce his name. I remember reading in the disclosure statement that money they get back will not 100% go back to us. It is this guy, and I believe the administration's discretion as to where clawback or preference exposure money will go. And that is something that, holy crap, man, if this money does not come back to the creditors, I mean, this bankruptcy has already been a giant shit show, but that would be freaking infuriating. And it's so strange too that Ionic Digital, which did have this post a few days ago, yay, they are energizing their mining hardware, great, great, great. But I remember that Ionic Digital was like, hey, we have no say of whether we're going to do clawbacks. This is not us doing clawbacks. This is the Litigation Oversight Committee, the LOC. It's their decision if they want to do clawbacks. It's not our decision. So everybody is putting the blame basically on someone else. Ionic Digital is like, it's not us that's doing these clawbacks. We have no say in this. We have no say in these clawbacks. At this point, I don't know what's true. I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't paint Ionic Digital in a great light. The fact that they are connected to an organization, the Litigation Oversight Committee, that is pursuing clawbacks on retail individuals, right? And again, this is nothing new. I've been a voice against clawbacks because it affected me, for one, but also I think it's really immoral, for two, for well over a year and a half. So, I mean, this is nothing new. This video is not news in that sense. And there's really only one place that's actively talking about getting an attorney right now and wanting legal representation. It's this Telegram group, and I don't know if I can actually add people. I think I actually need their usernames because I don't have a link to add people. So I'm not quite sure how to add people to this. Most of you guys involved with clawbacks are already in this group. If not, you've already had representation and you already know what you're up to. But if this is brand new for you and you're like, oh my gosh, I'll try to figure out a way to add people to this group. And this lawyer, Roland Jones, he has been talking about clawbacks for a while. And in the group I just shared, he seems to be the lawyer that a lot of people are looking out to or reaching out to in order for representation if they get sued. So I will include his latest video. I'll include the link to this below where you can hear from him. So this was a day ago. And anybody who does not have legal representation, I think should definitely check this video out. All right, guys, I'll just end the video there. I'll probably make more videos on this. And if this has nothing to do with what you care about, if you're like, I don't care about Celsius, well, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll be covering this even if it does hurt my station and whatever, because I think this is super important. And I want to finish this Celsius saga with you guys and help out whoever I can help out. So I'll end the video there. You can always reach out to me on Telegram or email or Twitter is probably the best. I'll include that information below for you guys. So till next time, guys, talk to you soon and bye for now.